Hi, everyone. Welcome to the X39 review with testimonials. Today, we have some great testimonials. We're going to be learning why X39 stem cell activation patch is so good for our parents, the ones we love most. And I have a great group of people coming up to give their testimonials about that. And after we do that, then Sean Zook will come and talk about the product, how it works. And then Mariah Thomas will explain how you can get the product for yourself. So with that, Dr. Rhonda Donahue, I would love for you to unmute yourself. Dr. Rhonda Donahue is a PhD in nutrition. She's one of my best friends and my business partner. And she's the one that told me about this 7 months ago in gratitude, as it has been life-changing for all of us when you found this. So Dr. Rhonda, I know that you also give it to your mother, and I'd love to know more about what's going on with that, her age and what you've been seeing, because my guess, she's probably been on it for maybe 7 months now. Maybe give us the time as well, and that would be great. Rhonda, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, thank you for having me tonight. My mother's 83, and last year she had some really bad health. Her memory was starting to go. She got the shingles. She had a sore shoulder. She could barely walk. I was seriously looking at homes to put her in because she just couldn't live by herself anymore. And so come around November, December, I started giving her the patch. And of course I left them there for her, but she wouldn't remember to put them on. So I'd go over every day and put one on her. And it took a while for her because she had a lot of stuff going on. And by about February of this year, she started, her shingles was going away a lot faster. And also her memory started coming back. She was remembering more things. She got more energy. Her shoulder wasn't hurting. She's been on the patch now about 7 months. And she is like a new person. She's outside walking around, trimming bushes. She walks and takes her garbage can all the way up to the garbage dump by herself. She could not have done that last year. And it's just a blessing. And my mom has, always tried different things over the years because I've had different products with my practice. So I was so happy that these worked for her because I was really scared for her. And I'm so happy, and I think every parent should have this, whether they have health issues or not. Just the energy and that vitality that it brings older people. I think it's perfect for them.
Well, I'll tell you, Rhonda, we were talking about this yesterday, and I'll have Tracy come on next. And after what you guys said, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get 2 sleeves and I got to ship it to my mom and dad because they're 86. And I want them to have the vitality that your mom is having. Like, wow. And so it made me realize we need to share what's really going on with our parents. So thank you for sharing what's happening with your mom. And I'm so glad that she's, has another step, so to speak,
Yeah.
So Tracy Smith, let's unmute you and, ask to unmute. Do you know how to unmute yourself? There you go. And I was so blessed to meet Tracy. Tracy is good friends with Rhonda, and we've got to know each other yesterday, and her testimonial on her parents was just so profound. I'm like, you got to come on. And Tracy, I think you've just started these X39 patches recently. Tell me a little bit about when you started and then what's going on with your mom and why you decided to give it to your mom in the first place.
Well, when I started is when wonderful Dr. Rhonda reached out. And I have adored and respected Dr. Rhonda for years and years. And so I tried the patches, and my sweetheart and I tried the patches, and he's, as all of you, very busy and successful. And all of a sudden, after about 5 days, we were playing gin. And when I grew up, I was always taught when you play gin, you play it as if you're playing 4 different hands. And that evening was the first time in years I went, oh my God, I feel as if I'm playing one hand, but 4 different ways. And that night I ginned all the time. So my sweetheart, my mother, and his cousin were like, you've got to be kidding me. So the nickname Gin. Now, my mother, I got the suggestion from Incredible Rhonda when she told me what she had just told you. So I started to put them on my mother, but I didn't tell her. And we had brought her here and put her in the casita with the lockdown. So every day she did her aqua aerobics and that. But a year ago, she had gotten into a car accident and then had broken her shoulder down to her elbow and then her hand. So she had to give up knitting and had to give up playing cards and holding the cards. So now during that week, and that she'd ask, what are you doing? I go, oh, Mom, I'm just giving you a little label. She's like, okay. So a couple of days later, she was saying, boy, I did this and this and this in the pool. So she doubled her workout. She's like, I have so much energy. I'm like, okay. And I was just quiet and that. And then a couple of days later, I had asked her, we wrote thank you cards to all of the different emergency rooms. So she was doing 50 to 75 cards a day. And she went by, she goes, my hand doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. I was like, okay. So now my brother had shipped her yarn. And then a couple of days later, she was busy doing her yarn and everything. And I came in to check on her. And that morning I had gotten so busy, I had forgotten to put the patch on her. And that, so then she said, I'm getting kind of tired. I don't think I'm going to do my workout. I was like, And then she had made a comment. She was putting down her knitting because of her hands and everything. And then as she went and walked away, I was like, oh, I didn't see the patch on her back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay. So now the next morning, I went to the casita and I put the patch on her back. She goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm giving you energy to do double your workout and your hand. And she looked at me, she goes, that's the difference, right? And I said, yeah. So she now has a lot more energy. She's doing double. And as my mother said, when we lost my father, she became basically lazy, where she would just, read a book, and that would probably be amount to her workout and everything. And she is very energetic, and she's emotionally happy because she is now sent back to Michigan. So she's dealing with the fact that she is alone and she doesn't do well alone. And she just texted a couple hours ago and she's like, this is bull crap, but I just broke away. I went and did this, I did this, I did this. And so she shared a joke and everything. And the difference it's made is amazing. That when I talked to my older brother last night, we were chatting about her birthday, and he said, boy, she came back. She's like, had all that spice and vinegar that she used to have. I'm like, have fun. So
Wow.
I thank very much for Dr. Rhonda. And then my sweetheart, because my mother is 83 going on 4, and then my sweetie is 77, and he's extremely busy. He would come home and take a couple hours of just, well, now the first 4 days he came home and he just went right to his desk and was doing this and 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 this. And at the end of the week, he came up and he went, okay, so you have me on all this stuff and everything. And he goes, you're late every time you label me. I said, I explained it all. And he's like, okay, whatever it is, sign up. We're doing it. I don't care. And we're doing it for your mother. Have you been doing it on your mother? And I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, that's it. Whatever it takes, do it. And whatever you need. I'm like, okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda, for reaching out again. And thank you for your suggestion of doing it for my mother. And thank you for the opportunity to share. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. So how long have you, your sweetheart, and your mother been on the X39 patch?
Oh my goodness, I would say now maybe 30 days. Yeah. And
Only 30 days.
Yeah, the difference it's made both in the mental clarity, because at the moment with everything's going on, his job is even more stressful. And then the family, and it's a family-owned business. And then also just the physical energy and the just energy, vitality. Yeah, all good.
Wow, in 30 days, we talk a lot about that. It takes anywhere from, some people notice it in 10 days, and some people it takes 30 to 90 days, because these are pluripotent stem cells that get activated, and you don't know where those stem cells are going to go to fix first. And so we find 50% of people notice something right away, and 50% take longer because it's really working on an internal organ first. So what is interesting about Tracy is it worked very fast. It worked, looks like most likely, label, mom was noticing things, I bet, in day 5, day 7. So it's just very interesting to know how the patch goes to work with each person. But I'll tell you, once you've been on it for 90 days, you never get off. And that's just truth. So with that, I would love to hear Sean Zook about her mom and dad, I think, are on it, and what's been going on. And they've been on it longer, I believe. So maybe we can get a little recap from you too, Sean.
Well, my mom has always been very open and to try anything that I put in front of her. Because for me, I've been basically searching for anything to help with my migraines, and I can talk about that on another call. So I've just like, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? Well, I ended up trying the patches and felt within a week, I felt a really big difference. So I'm like, okay, mom.
Take a moment on the migraines. The migraines are really important. What you tell us just a moment about the migraines, please.
Okay. Well,
that's serious for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I basically have had them my whole life, but didn't recognize it until maybe in my 40s. And for migraines, you can't pinpoint where they come from. Medical science they can't even tell you. And there's so many different kinds. And some come from tension, some come from other sources. But for me, I've kind of pinpointed them down to inflammation. Alcohol triggers it, chocolate triggers it, sugar triggers it, stress triggers it, lack of sleep triggers it. Wow. And I've tried other products, and I've tried the diets and everything. But
Sean, what happens when you have a migraine? Give everybody an example of what happens. Like, what is a migraine?
Well, basically, I feel this like auric kind of feeling and a little teeny bit of pain. And it's pressure, and it doesn't like hurt at first, but I'm like, oh God, here goes my day. You know what I mean? And so before I figured out my medication, how to really, kind of take it where it actually works for me. And I had, I wasn't able to nip it before it got worse. And it would basically get to a point where I'd be laying down on my bed with a bowl next to my bed and dry heaving for 2 to 3 hours, and not being able to move, and the pain level is like a 10 for sure. And just, and at the worst was probably, right before, it was maybe a year ago, because I kind of started changing my diet, but and then I kind of figured out the medication too, of how to take it where it would work better. But I would be 3 days a week, I would get these migraines, to that point. And it was really scary, because how can you plan your life? And I happen to not be working too. So, because I work on remote construction type work, and it was just a slow time. So I just was like, totally just out of my wit's end, of how am I going to deal with it? But so the patches, when I started taking the patches, within a week, I really noticed, I was like, the energy was there. I was getting better sleep. My stress went down, and the inflammation, I believe, was a huge part of it. So, I went 3 weeks straight at work without even a headache. And I'm like, wow. Okay, what's going on here? And I still get them, and they come in fate. I had a white Russian the other day, and the next morning I'm like, so I just have to be careful and with my choices and all that. But yeah, I believe this product was a total game changer for me, you know, and you know, I'm still on the hunt. I'm all about, you know, give me the highest technology, you know, for healing out there, and I will be on it, you know. But for now, I feel like I found it, and you know, I started sharing it. I have one patch right here for those that don't know what they look like. They're so simple. I mean, you put this thing on and they're non-invasive. That's the thing. So basically it's infused with frequency, programmed by David Schmidt, the owner, and they're non-invasive. It's just this frequency. It gets activated, and I put it on my C7. That's my favorite spot. It's like if you bend your head down, there's, you know, the spine and that big bone right there. Some have better. Sometimes it's so funny. I put a patch on someone, like, oh my God, your C7 is so beautiful. But so, you know, it's pretty easy to find. And then what happens is the infrared from your, you know, the heat of your skin activates that frequency. It goes directly into your brain and throughout all the cells of your body, and it activates this GHK copper peptides. This is the sleeve that it comes in, by the way. There's 30 of them in there. So so basically the GHK copper peptides activate our genetics. There's like 4,000 that are activated, and that turns back on our stem cells. So by the time we're 35, the science has proven that we lose the activated 50% of our stem cells are no longer working. They're not activated, they're dormant. And then by the time we're 65, that's why, you know, our elders or our seniors are feeling them so quickly, because they're almost all dormant by the time, you know, we're in our 60s. And so you know, my mom, her story, I'll just share this a little bit because it's a miracle. She has severe COPD, like, which caused a bunch of problems with her heart. I mean, on and on and on. She gets really swollen and all this stuff. I mean, she's not perfect, you know, but I mean, she started doing these patches, and within 3 months, she's like sitting around or I think it was at 4 months, she's sitting around and she forgets to put her oxygen machine on for 2 days. And so she gets her oxygen reader, dosimeter or whatever it is, puts it on her one of her fingers, and it reads 97%. She could never get over 88%. So anyway, she went into the doctor. The doctor put the stethoscope on her lungs, and she's been seeing this doctor forever. They have a really wonderful relationship. And she's like, check my lungs. And the bottom of her lungs was getting air. I mean, it's the pluripotent stem cells are going in and they're regenerating the tissue. So these patches, it's very important that you put them on for 12 hours for the regeneration, and then for the rejuvenation, you take them off for 12 hours. I'm starting to value that much more because I know that I want to get the best out of these patches. They work. They're crazy. They're these little things. They're magical. For me, they have been. Let's see. I think I pretty much got it. I can tell you a little bit about my dad too. So my dad, he's the cynical one, you know, and he's like, yeah, I guess I'm, you know, my bike rides, he's 78, you know, are getting, you know, I felt like I had more energy and I went a little farther on my bike rides, but that's about it, you know. So anyway, I mean, I always was hinting every time I talked to him, but this last time I talked to him, I'm like, I ain't saying a word, you know, let him, and he's like, oh, by the way, those patches, I can't go a day without them. Otherwise, my back hurts. I'm like, Dad. He's like so funny. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be wearing these for the rest of my life. And that's the other thing about these particular patches. They're completely affordable. I mean, basically less than a latte, you can activate your stem cells. And other sources of stem cell activation, you know, you got to get the shots, and they're so expensive. I don't know why there's so much, but I mean, they're like $5,000 at least per shot, and it takes, you know, many treatments for them, you know, even if it's other people's DNA, so they may not even be compatible with your system. That's what's so wonderful about these patches. They're activating your own stem cells. So yeah, yes, I'm sold, and I'm happy.
Wow.
And
So
I
Sean,
wanna-
go ahead.
Oh, I want to mention one more thing about my mom
Yeah.
and her emotional state of being, because that is so important. I mean,
Huh.
she was very emotional, like, and just, I think just toxed out in her brain, and now she is so much more happier. I mean, it's like our relationship's better. I don't have to walk on eggshells, and she, you know what I mean? And it's so much more healthier. I wish that for every child and parent to be able to see each other more clearly, have that clarity, and that kind of have our hearts opened.
Yeah. And did you say on your dad, he said, I'm never going off of it because my leg doesn't hurt anymore? I missed what you said there. Was that it?
He's got lower back pain. Like, he
Oh.
wakes up every day and he's stiff, and he's kind of like hobble, bends over a little bit, like that. So yeah, it helps. I'm sure with the inflammation, it helps, and I'm sure it's healing it too.
Wow, that's amazing. So once again, this is what it looks like. It's a X39 stem cell activation patch. And when you put it on the skin, the heat or light of the skin basically sends a reflection of a light wave back to your skin. And it is that light wave that creates a frequency, much like when you're out in the sun and the ultraviolet light has your body elevate vitamin D. This is the same thing. David Schmidt, the owner and inventor, figured out how to use different light waves to actually elevate frequencies that heal us. One of those frequencies is GHK copper peptides. This patch elevates that, and that, as Sean says, activates your stem cells, which basically means it takes the army and mobilizes it to where it needs to repair now. It makes more, and it resets them to a younger, healthier state. David says this: when you put young pluripotent stem cells, which mean they can go and turn into whatever cell your body needs, on old tissue, you turn the tissue young again. He says this is not anti-aging. He says this is age reversal. And when those stem cells stop working at age 60, and we're now putting labels on people's back, as Tracy says, we get to reactivate those on all the people we love. And that's why this product is so special. So with that, Mariah, why don't you let everybody know how they can get their patches?
Thanks, Marcy. I just want to say really quickly that as I'm looking at myself on the camera here, I've noticed how long, I can't even put it all in the frame, my hair is. My hair used to come to my chin like 8 months ago. So what is that like? And I've gotten it cut several times. So I think it's 6 inches. My hair's grown six inches. It's unbelievable. Anyway, numerous other health things have gone right for me, as well as for my parents. So I want to, once again, reiterate what you said, Marcy. This is a great gift for Father's Day. And this is the X39 sleeve. It has 30 patches in it, and comes in a sleeve that looks like this. And you can get it as a customer. So if I wanted to order from Sean, I'd go to Sean's website, lifewave.com/Sean Zook, and I would click the button buy. And when I click the button buy, I'm able to purchase a sleeve of X39 for $149.95 plus shipping. And I can also be a preferred customer. And when I'm a preferred customer, I can go in, I still click buy. I can go in, I can purchase the product at $149.95, but when I hit auto ship, it changes the price to $99.95. So I save $50 by becoming a preferred customer, and I can choose the date that I wish to order. And during that time period, I can change my order as many times as I want. I can, change the date. I can change my credit card, which is really nice. So you can do all of those things when you're on auto ship. You have a 30-day money back guarantee. If you're a customer, you have a 90-day money back guarantee. So some people like to get in as a distributor where they automatically start out with getting a product at $99.95, the wholesale price. We recommend the silver pack, so you get 3 of these sleeves in the silver pack. All the sleeves are $99.95, so that would be $300 for a, or $299.95 for 3 sleeves of X39, and it really takes about 3 months to really begin to see a difference in the changes in your stem cells. I noticed something right away. Other people, they notice it in a week. Some people 2 weeks. Some people, it takes 3 months before they begin to actually see things like their skin changing, they're getting better sleep. Their hair is growing. I saw some wonderful pictures that you sent, Marcy, of people who had bald spots and you had chemo hair, and look at your hair now. It's prettier than it was when I first met you, and longer too. So and darker. I mean, my hair was coming in, I mean, it is now underneath coming in darker than on top where I highlighted it blonde. Anyway, and then you can also go with, if you're really interested in starting the business, you can go with the diamond pack. And I believe you get, Marcy, am I right, 19 sleeves in the diamond pack?
19 sleeves.
19 sleeves, and they bring the cost of the sleeves down to about $84. Is that right? 84?
Yep. That's
Okay,
exactly
so you
right.
save money that way. You've got sleeves to gift someone. You've got sleeves to start your business. You can share it with your medical professionals, your therapist. You can share it with your family, your friends. And, you know, usually when I share with people, they want to know where they can get more. So I just think that's wonderful. So it's a great gift for your dad for Father's Day. And hopefully he'll share with your mom as well. And my parents were on last week, and they've had numerous wonderful changes for them. My dad's blood pressure normalized. He had AFib with his heart, that normalized. He was out of breath because of congestive heart failure. He's walking back and forth to the mailbox, no problem. They're in their 80s, they're 85. My mom had neck pain. She couldn't turn her neck. Now she can turn her neck. She noticed skin changes. You know, skin is softer, smoother, less wrinkles. Her hair is growing. My dad's hair is growing. So just a lot of really great things going on with that. And so with that, Marcy, I'll send it back to you.
Wow. Well, thank you, Mariah. So as Mariah said, just get with the person who brought you here, and you can let them know, hey, I want to try it retail, preferred customer. I want to buy one of those packs. And I will tell you that just 7 days ago, we got a 20-year patent. The research did say, yes, indeed, this frequency elevates GHK copper peptides, proved it in the blood. And so now we have a 20-year patent. So there is no competition. Also, David's company is 15 years old. And so he has about 10 other frequency patches, which are amazing. And he's in 100 countries. So we are super stable. But about a year ago is when the X39 came out. And you can see it says X39. It took 39 times for David to find the right light wave that elevates GHK. And that's super special. And so basically what's happened is the company just took off in the last year. So we're stable. But this patch is doing so much. We actually had, I just found out, the biggest month ever that we've ever had in May, just last month. So that's super duper exciting. Also, if you want to learn more, you can go to startx39.com. There is some great videos. There's a 3-minute video on how the patch works. There's an 18-minute science video, and David Schmidt, our owner and inventor, explains the actual science. It's great. There's research on that site. There's testimonials. There's how to wear it. Oh, by the way, most people wear it right below the base of their neck, or they wear it below their belly button. And once again, it's 12 hours on and 12 hours off. But any spot will do. Many people put it on their area of pain, and I actually wear 2. You can wear more than 1. You just want to make sure that you turn it on and off every 12 hours. This is light therapy, which is photobiomodulation. And just with a light, if you keep your light on 24 hours a day, it will burn out, it won't work. So you have to turn this on and off, on and off. So with that, I am so happy you all came tonight, and I hope you've learned a lot about our stem cell activation patches. And we're so happy that you came and heard about all these amazing testimonials. We are just tickled about what we have found here. Lots of love to all of you. Have a great night. Good night now. We'll see you, tomorrow night, Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Sheila Hay and Kathleen Nichols will be doing their X39 with testimonials. So come back in on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay, bye-bye.